Few names shine as brightly as David Beckham's in the soccer world, but in 2007, when he announced his move from Real Madrid to the LA Galaxy of Major League Soccer, the world was stunned. It wasn't just a transfer, it was a seismic shift that would change the landscape of American soccer forever. A global superstar at the peak of his fame, taking a 70% pay cut to join a league that barely registered on the international soccer radar. Many call it a career suicide, others labeled it a publicity stunt. But Beckham saw something others didn't: an opportunity to create a legacy that transcended the sport. Today we're diving deep into the story of how David Beckham turned what seemed like the biggest gamble in sports history into arguably the greatest deal ever made. David Beckham's journey to stardom began at Manchester United, where he rose through the youth ranks to become one of the most iconic players in the club's history. With his precision free kicks, pinpoint crosses and undeniable charisma, Beckham quickly became the darling of Old Trafford. At Manchester United, Beckham was part of the legendary Class of '92 alongside players like Ryan Giggs and Paul Scholes. Under the tutelage of Sir Alex Ferguson, he helped United dominate English football, winning 6 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups and the UEFA Champions League in that unforgettable treble-winning season of 1999. But Beckham's influence extended far beyond the pitch. His marriage to Victoria Adams, better known as Posh Spice from the Spice Girls, catapulted him into the stratosphere of celebrity. Suddenly, Beckham wasn't just gracing the back pages of newspapers, he was on the front pages, in fashion magazines and on billboards worldwide. In 2003, Beckham made a high-profile move to Real Madrid, joining the Galacticos, a team of superstar players including Zinedine Zidane, Ronaldo and Luis Figo. This transfer only amplified his global appeal. He wasn't just a sports star anymore. He was a brand, a style icon, and a cultural touchstone. By 2007, David Beckham was one of the most recognizable faces on the planet. He had conquered Europe, both on and off the field. He had played for 2 of the biggest clubs in the world. He had won nearly everything there was to win in club football. And then, at the height of his powers and fame, he announced he was leaving it all behind for Major League Soccer. When David Beckham announced his move to the LA Galaxy in January 2007, it sent shockwaves through the soccer world. He was a player who had just won La Liga with Real Madrid, choosing to play in a league that many European fans couldn't even name. On the surface, the numbers were staggering, and not in Beckham's favor. He was walking away from a reported $20 million annual salary at Real Madrid. His base salary with the LA Galaxy was comparatively modest, at $6.5 million per year. It looked like Beckham was taking a 70% pay cut to play in a less competitive league. Many questioned his motivation. Was this just a publicity stunt? Had Beckham lost his ambition? But here's where it gets interesting. The headline figures didn't tell the whole story. Beckham's contract with MLS was unlike anything the league had seen before. Beckham's deal included a revolutionary clause. He would receive a percentage of Galaxy's revenue. This meant a cut of everything from ticket sales and merchandising to sponsorships and even concessions. But the real game changer was buried in the fine print. Beckham negotiated an option to purchase an MLS expansion team for $25 million upon his retirement. At the time, this seemed like a footnote. After all, who could have predicted how valuable MLS franchises would become? Beyond the financial aspect, there were serious questions about the competitive level of MLS. Beckham was leaving behind the UEFA Champions League, matches against Barcelona, and top European competition for a league that was still finding its feet on the world stage. Many feared this move would signal the end of Beckham's relevance as a top-tier player. There were concerns that playing in MLS would hamper his chances of continuing his international career with England. Some even suggested it might tarnish his legacy. Then there was the cultural gamble. Beckham was moving his family from Madrid to Los Angeles, from a soccer-mad culture to a country where the sport was still growing in popularity. To accommodate Beckham's salary, MLS had to create the designated player rule, which allowed teams to sign high-profile players outside the salary cap. This rule, quickly dubbed the Beckham Rule, would change the face of MLS forever. What seemed like a risky move in 2007 has, in hindsight, proved to be one of the shrewdest business decisions in sports history. The first stroke of genius in Beckham's contract was the revenue-sharing agreement. Unlike traditional sports contracts that rely solely on a fixed salary, Beckham's deal allowed him to profit directly from the success he brought to the league. This aligned his interests perfectly with those of the LA Galaxy and MLS as a whole. With every ticket sold, every jersey purchased, and every new sponsorship deal signed, Beckham got a piece of it all. This meant that as he raised the profile of the league, he was also raising his own earnings. It's a win-win situation that incentivized Beckham to be not just a player, but a tireless ambassador for the sport in America. However, the true masterstroke of Beckham's deal was the option to purchase an MLS expansion team for $25 million. At the time, this might have seemed like an afterthought. After all, in 2007, MLS was still a fledgling league with uncertain prospects for growth. Fast forward to 2018, when Beckham exercised his option to launch Inter Miami CF. By this time, MLS expansion fees had skyrocketed. While Beckham was paying $25 million, other new teams were entering the league for fees upward of $200 million. Beckham had essentially locked in a massive discount a decade in advance. Another often overlooked aspect of Beckham's deal was its flexibility. The contract allowed him to go on a loan to AC Milan twice during his MLS career, helping him maintain his form and secure his place in the England national team. The most viable and immediate effect of Beckham's arrival was the surge in popularity and attendance. The LA Galaxy saw a massive spike in ticket sales, with home games selling out and away games featuring the Galaxy also experiencing significant increases in attendance. Beckham's number 23 Galaxy jersey quickly became the best-selling MLS jersey of all time, outpacing sales of all other players combined in his first season. Beckham's presence elevated MLS from a little-known league to a topic of global soccer conversation. European and South American media began covering MLS more extensively, primarily due to Beckham's involvement. This increased international recognition had a snowball effect, attracting other international stars to consider MLS as a viable career move. Players like Thierry Henry, Kaká, and David Villa followed in Beckham's footsteps, further raising the league's profile. Moreover, MLS experienced rapid expansion in the years following Beckham's arrival, growing from 13 teams in 2007 to 29 teams in 2023, with more expansion planned. The financial impact of Beckham's move was equally substantial. Major brands became more interested in partnering with MLS teams and the league itself, leading to more lucrative sponsorship deals. The value of MLS TV rights increased significantly. In 2007, MLS received about $8 million annually from TV rights. By 2022, the league had signed a 10-year, $2.5 billion deal with Apple TV. Perhaps most strikingly, the average value of MLS teams skyrocketed. In 2008, the average team was worth about $37 million. By 2022, that figure had risen to $579 million, according to Forbes. Beyond the financial and popularity boosts, Beckham's presence helped improve the overall quality of play in MLS. His professionalism and work ethic set a new standard for MLS players. Beckham's influence extended beyond the pitch, affecting American culture's relationship with soccer. He made soccer cool in America. Perhaps the most lasting impact of Beckham's MLS journey is his transition from player to owner. Exercising his option to purchase an expansion team, Beckham founded Inter Miami CF, which began play in 2020. This culminated in 2023 when Inter Miami signed Lionel Messi, arguably the greatest player of all time. This move, facilitated by Beckham's vision and influence, promises to have an impact on MLS comparable to Beckham's own arrival in 2007. Looking back, the numbers tell a story of remarkable success that has transformed Major League Soccer. Since Beckham's arrival, the league has experienced unprecedented growth in multiple areas. Beckham's personal gains have been equally impressive. His initial $6.5 million annual salary ballooned into earnings of over $250 million during his MLS playing career, thanks to the savvy revenue-sharing model he negotiated. However, perhaps the most striking figure is the value of his expansion team option. What began as a $25 million clause in his original contract has blossomed into Inter Miami CF, a team now valued at over $600 million just 3 years after its debut season. These numbers paint a clear picture. Beckham's move to MLS wasn't just a success, it was a transformative force that reshaped the entire landscape of American soccer. What seemed like a gamble in 2007 has proven to be a masterstroke of sporting and business acumen. Beckham didn't just secure a lucrative deal for himself. He played a pivotal role in transforming MLS into a rapidly growing, increasingly respected league with a bright future.